Okay. We've got G2 on defense, we've got G-Lai on attack. Let's see what G2 have got with this one. They go for the no duelist Sage comp. It's honestly pretty good at everything, especially retaking. Like it's an incredibly strong retake comp over towards A. And then if you have the Perma Viper smoke over towards here, it's very good for retaking as well. Right, pissed around as well, you can see G2 just give up the side, they don't want to duel. It's all about making sure you save the wall. You've got wall for the first layer. Second layer is like omen smokes over towards here so they can't see the defuse. A good trade on this one again. Let's keep an eye on the wall. Wall goes out, insta defuse. They break a little bit of it and they're creating chaos at the same time. Honestly, Jorgamo probably could have just sent it the whole time here. Yeah, a bit of a mistake from G-Lai. They play way too off-site against this comp. You got to fight heavy against it.
Immediately, Valen's hyped up about that one. This is a big change to their composition, but both comps that they've played recently.
Cray on GG with the tier 1. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate the 6 months. Thank you for doing that.
That retake style. Look at how much pressure the wall puts down, especially on the pistol. If you manage to save that wall from the retake on pistol, it's so difficult to get through. But keep an eye out for that once weapons come online as well. Once XLG have more ways of being able to deny. G2 played so heavily for retake against
That's a lot of sheriffs on this one. 3. Trent trying to get his all early. And again, we'll keep an eye. As long as they don't hit stingers, they're probably fine to play retake again.
Some value on their own eco. They bought 3 sheriffs across the board.
Take flight.
Heavy re-exploration through mid.
The very 2024 paper expired, the free sheriffs.
So now that they've pulled bodies into mid,
they back their aim.
Find this timing to go over towards what should be a bit of a softer site.
Going to be caught
That's very confident from Leaf on this one, and he got the molly kill as well.
Midi going down there. Going nano really deep over towards yellow.
See the discipline though.
I'm pretty sure someone crossed over towards here as well and could have broken this. Nice shots, man. Yeah, this looked insanely convincing. No damage done here. They got an extra plant though, so the sheriff buys should mean that they still get heavy armor.
To be finalists in terms of every event that they end up attending, especially at this point.
But they'd have to go perfect here through the lower bracket to even make another grand final, another opportunity to redeem themselves after.
Oof, that second shot is lovely.
I'm sure they'll believe they should have won in Bangkok. It does feel like an angry G2 though for these first couple of rounds. But now Rifle's back online. More opportunities to crack this retake setup that G2 appear to be playing. And the more that you play retake on the sites, the more that you can focus on defending through mid. So if G2 are going to play pretty soft on the sites themselves, that means that XLG should be denied these mid lurks that they appear to be looking for. As Coconut and Happyway were thinking about
recon clears close though. It's an interesting recon.
Players over towards B.
I think it would work that well when you know about it. G2 for the bonus, not a bad bonus. Just as soon as they hear them do some kind of A default, they start getting a little bit more aggro on their trap play over towards B. Yeah, he saw him. The great molly.
Bit of a tussle occurring out towards B main, yet somehow G2 are still ended up the winners of it. Paranoia.
And they still managed to get on top of that even though they're in the corner. That's really rough.
There's that rifle drop down to the ground. Raga,
yeah, don't pick up the flash as well. G2 on this one just playing heavy retake, right? Info to see if they're close. Molly's to delay. Got wall can try to do a bit of spam damage, but the same thought process of retake over towards A. And they're just going to wall up. Again, layer 1 with the Viper wall for this. Then once they get over towards here, you'll have some kind of omen smokes to block vision so you can defuse with the wall. So this is good from G-Lai though. You actually see them like fighting on the site itself. So it's good that they learned from the pistol.
Darts flying sky high, face out to the sides. G2, plenty of bodies, plenty of action. Still XLG, they have those rifles. Tucked up closer towards the
it's really rough, man.
Beaver dropped. And Midi's next. It leaves it all just out a happy way. It's snappy. He's going to need a bit more where that came from as well. Damage has definitely been done as well. Tucked to the side, though, 28 HP. Is it enough to work with? Tap it on.
Yeah, might have done it time-wise. Yeah, nicely done in the end. I mean, it wasn't crazy convincing. It's like the worst round you can possibly win with everyone going down money-wise. But a round is a round. A round is a round.
XLG
Everyone
around on
force
the
buys
board.
here, you would
A
imagine,
Red Bull
unless they
clutch in
really
the
want to
end from
eco after the
Happyway.
win. But
The sole player who's been playing up to expectation, I think, for this
they played
roster.
well, just whiffs. Yeah, yeah.
Has
They,
a
they,
weight
they
for
played
region
they
on
played
their
right.
shoulders.
They
I
just
guess,
missed some
Up
shots.
until the point the Wolves turned up to this event, started playing incredibly well. Happyway's been excellent though, and he delivers for them once more. But their economy is going to be shattered.
Okay, Leaf never
Three
misses an
Guardians.
opportunity to try
A
and
must-win round
get
again
some
for
light
XLG.
armors. There's two people that he can one-shot in this. Speaking of Leaf, one away from his ult.
John P just making sure to deal with a lot of that early util. G2 open up with the slow orb up towards top. Now the drone as well. Mo going exploring. There's a re-swing off to the side. And adjustments
Very
necessary. Calm,
Yeah, it's a cool
steady
little
aim in the end.
move from them.
It's always G2
They're being
driving
very
the action
aggro as
here.
well, and it's
They
kind of
fought
similar.
on
I'm not
towards
sure
B
this
in
was
the
in
previous round,
reaction,
now they're
but
fighting
the
towards
push
A,
over
and it
towards
just
B and
drives
aggro. Every
XLG
time they're doing some kind of
into the
default, they're
opposite
going
side.
aggro.
XLG need to find some way
Again,
of
Sniffy, thanks so much
disrupting
for
the
the 2
tempo.
months. I appreciate the prime.
plan.
Big Joe.
Denied.
I mean, Analysis
Ooh,
was
double
dead,
swing
but
on
it
this?
was
Hey,
back
that's
into
nice.
his
Oh, Coconut.
Coconut. Not long for the world.
Even if he got past Trent there, I don't think there was a chance that he was also
Yeah, and they
getting
stopped
past Leaf.
Wingman from planting as well.
Fighting. A little bit deeper.
Do a quick recap. 1, 2, 3, can't buy next. And it's
yeah,
yeah,
just taking that slight
looking
peek
good.
up from Kitchen into that angle. Midi's going to be dropped now. Just 2 left to stand against it, but swarms on every possible position. G2 have got their number, and Leaf is the one to be delivering that dagger to the back.
Very, very nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, get that Sova ult going as well. Force him down to an eco. Might need an early timeout from Gila here.
There is a safety
There
policy.
is constantly been
But G2 have been
aggression
in
in
complete
the opposite
control.
area to wherever they default, so
Everything that
they
they're
need to be
doing
ready for
here
this.
is forcing XLG into really predictable reactions.
Marvi as well, with the
G2's
gifted,
game
and
plan
now
could roughly be
with the
summarized
tier
as
1.
we'll
Thank you
fight
so
on
much,
one
bro.
side of the
Appreciate you,
map,
dude.
We'll play retake on the other. And you just put the retake side has a little bit of plant denial, whether that's, you know, a nano swarm in this round, and suddenly XLG are slow. The reaction's not quite as fast as they would want. They can't take deep space on site.
Okay, it's a good early timeout though. There's a lot of stuff to speak about. You can speak about the reactive aggression. You can speak about the fact that maybe they actually need to like push and take map control because they're playing against the Sage. They can't play their normal like after plant that they would want to. Yeah, there is a lot of things
They've also got to find ways
to
to
talk
get
about.
Raga online. This guy, when you look at the stats coming into the event, you can make arguments like, okay, he's in a bit of a weaker region. Okay, weaker region. Have you been seeing what Wolves have been doing at this event?
It's not an argument anymore.
I mean, you know, there is some level of an argument. But
Michael,
Raga has
thank you so much in the YouTube chat as well. Thank you so much.
domestically inside China. Absolutely tearing
Can't believe
people
the
into
guy I
pieces.
watched spread
But that was in the
1 pound
previous
of butter
meta
on
where he
himself
was
2
always
days ago
set
is
up
now
with
casting.
double initiated
It is
utility.
crazy, isn't it?
And now
They'll
you
hire
find
anyone these
XLG
days.
in a different meta, having to make a roster change right before this tournament, removing one of those initiator players and subbing in a player who can't communicate as well in English.
Yeah.
which
Michael, thank you for
this
doing that, bro. I appreciate
roster,
it.
in case you're unaware, is a blend of English and Mandarin in terms of their communication. So once you sever that really delicate balance of comms, it's going to make it a lot harder for even a star player like Raga to shine.
We're seeing that, I think, in terms of the reflection. I mean,
Okay,
Raga's
eco,
putting
and
his
again, I
body
don't
on
think I'm
the
going to
line.
see much of their change up from the eco,
Numerous
other
times,
than
normally
obviously in the
the setup
after
goes the
plants
other way.
playing
Everything's
site.
being invested to make sure
The
that
good
he
news
is
for
empowered and
Gila
has a great
is like they
game.
actually have a comp that's like not too bad
But
at
yeah,
taking
when I
over
was
towards
watching XLG
Snowman.
play
You have
previously against
recon,
Sentinels, he
you
was
can
running
have
in first as Neon, looking
you have
to get
flash over
traded.
towards the
That's
top,
not
you can have a
the guy that I was
wingman that
watching
can
in
kind of
China.
clear most of these areas.
That's an eco round for now for
If they need
XLG.
to take over towards B, I imagine that's what we're going to see them take heavier Snowman.
was called
Unless they want to
timeout,
try like
adjustments
Lurk
made.
heavier.
Probably going to be taken into account a little bit later on. Jogamo always willing to take these fights. He steps up to the mark. He's not
Very,
shy
very
at
nice.
all. Big game player.
Same stuff going on, right? Fine to just
XLG
give them
might
the
have been
map,
expecting
try
that
and
they
do a
got
bit
the
of damage
cycle
before
free
they get over towards the site.
It's good to throw in a
Retake
twist every
together.
now and then.
See it already. Spike's going to be attempted to plant there.
Spike planted.
Wingman will get this one down as well, so into the post plant we go. But XLG, what have they got to really work with? Pistols, high ground position, pushed off and away. Happy way not to be dismayed.
Yeah,
Off to the
keep
side,
an eye on
they're
Jogamo as
accounting
well.
for it, and already just wall up into their face, and Pistols just have to expend the entirety of the clip just to even stand a bloody chance. It's Heartburns already.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. Gila definitely need the guns on this one. I like this from G2, makes a lot of sense again, right? Same stuff we were talking about. Layer 1, they had their smoke a little bit deeper, and then they had their extra smoke for the wall as well. And you could fight in front of it.
Eco like that, the escort the VIP and just get Jorgamo into position, whack down the wall, and it makes those post plans really tough if you're planning to play.
The Sage? Yeah, the Sage is hard to play against. There's a reason this was like hard meta back when Icebox was like first coming out.
Like the paranoia. Now this round, G2 have Sova ult for plant denial. Killjoy ult for retake. It only gets more difficult. XLG need answers and they need them fast.
One away from a variety of ultimates here. XLG could build towards them. Still have the Thrash as well in their back pockets.
Did they get the retract?
I think
Nope.
broken.
Sounded like it broke.
It was definitely aiming to be retracted, but it did make the sound line as if it was broken. There should be a 40-second cooldown there.
Anyway, the turret broken, reinforcements immediately coming.
Yeah, big focus on middle for them. Two-person.
Through mid. The question marks.
Okay, so this is kind of okay, right? The Viper can shoot this, but they might not expect the second person there. Yeah. He just didn't commit. Yeah, we got some confidence issues there.
He can't lose that. He doesn't have the confidence to peek properly. Just sees the ponytail of Jorgamo. And now they're making a predictable reaction again. Fast into the A site, hit by the lockdown.
Yeah, and it's going to be stunted. Pushed back and away as
Nice
well
shot.
into the arms of Jonah P.
Spike planted.
Plant is down, but two players have to stand against it. Do manage to block away. Jonah P from the pitch.
Boy, Sova ult, my guy.
Let this one loose as the last player left alive.
Yeah,
and
this
the
is done.
dwindling now for any chance of winning the round, and they know it. G2. They're skipping their hopping.
Why do certain agents excel on certain maps? I mean, all the maps are different.
If that isn't desperation,
Like,
I don't know what
this
is.
map's a nightmare, man, because
Blunted, I'm not too sure.
where are you meant to play your after plants a lot of the time as well.
Plan, I love it. You've got Coconut as the bait at the bottom of Tube. Happyway's already walked up to the window. They had a guaranteed kill there on Jorg that could have opened up the round, and they executed it poorly. Just a failure of mechanics, a failure of confidence. Showing that it's not just about the ideas, it's also about the attitude you're bringing to the game.
Okay, back down to Nico.
Right now, G2 have come with anger, fury, a determination to win.
XLG, no respite for them. Knocked down to this lowers, and they unfortunately have to contend with a team that everyone was calling before this as one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, I don't think there's another way of slicing it at this point in the year. It does look like G2, but, you know, if they lose this match, then suddenly all of those narratives get flipped on their head entirely.
Gone. Yeah.
Pink Ranger with the Prime. Thank you
It's
so
a
much for the
very
2 months, dude.
different
Thank you,
crop of
thank
teams
you.
that we've got here compared to Bangkok.
Waiting for the next round of the Viper Wall fuel to come up, and now XLG slowly creeping past the boundary. Dart into the
Just
back
because
as
it's a
well,
new
so
member, it's like a lot of things at the moment. Let's really see what we thought we were going to see, right? In the timeout, them taking over towards Snowman, because obviously the after plant with the Sage was too much. So really see the coach talking about the right things in the timeout for sure. There's a So what you're saying there about the player, for sure, that is a giant issue, right? They've had to change one of their core players who, at least in the original meta, was like a big reason why Raga was fragging so heavy. They're also playing against a comp that, practice-wise, you don't get much preparation against. Like to find a team that is playing this at the moment, it's going to be very hard for you to find that. So it's not like Zilai play against this comp often. So those couple of rounds kind of shocked them a little bit. They played wrong originally in the pistol, kind of cost them the pistol, something that's very important in this game. Again, there's a lot that can be said for playing comps that people don't practice against. That's why I'm so adamant about how teams approach this. Like, this is the kind of stuff that teams will struggle against. They can't even kill them. That's also another issue. Oh, we're going for the TikTok?
He's either missing it or he's not taking the timing.
Essentially biding his time as well. Okay, drone broken.
That wall,
Yeah, they're going for the heal on this one. Their best chance of winning a round at the moment. 50 seconds.
XLG are trying to work the map a little bit here and trying to work some picks. Raga just steps up. Very long sight line, unable to get the kill there. A couple of stray bullets onto Leaf, but he just backs himself.
He went for it and missed the last round.
It's here, happy way. Hoping to save it for post, I think, if they can get a free
Yeah, it
plant
looks like we
on.
got nothing to
The
stop this
ideal.
one as
It's a
well.
good
So they
read,
get the good
yeah.
plant. As
They've taken down
Wingman
the Killjoy
planted
utility
it
earlier
well.
on.
It looks like on the
And
minimap
Trent,
it's
he's not
fine.
gonna invest his overall for that.
Yeah, everyone's putting everything into this one. Honestly, if I'm G2 here, I'm kind of I'm not saying I accept it. Obviously, you still go for it, but I would like not use the ults into it. Oh, I'd be tempted to use ults into it right now, though. As soon as that kill comes in, I'll be like, okay, hold up. You know that whole no ult pack we did? I'd probably use ults. This is great from G2, though. Honestly, I'm so fine with them losing this if they can do a lot of damage.
Jumps up and over, tap onto it.
Damn, look at him. Don't even have to use the ults. They win it anyway. This is beyond done. Holy man. I think they made the right call as well to try go for this without using the Sova ult, and they just win it anyway.
What a beautiful play.
Big
from
play.
Jorg.
The jump across and jump behind was awesome from
That's
Jorgemon.
absolute brilliance. The Sage Wall over the top of the
Yeah, the Sage Wall to the top.
Drops behind players
Creates
he
the
knows
pressure
are
as
going
well.
to take
It's
a
awesome
timing.
play from him.
That's not just a must-win round for XLG, that's one that you really can't lose. Inside the Viper's pit, still double ults to be able to work with.
I know.
They could have still had people dropping back and at least using
Yeah, and
Thrash in that
they win
situation.
around when they use some
But
ults.
they believed in the ults and couldn't get the timings on the players. 7-1.
It's only going to get much harder. G2 ulted their own as well. Pit down over towards B. Removes one of the avenues that XLGs can work. Now, they've been breaking the turret up through mid quite often, so Leaf has been forced to adjust his setup up.
I mean, it looks at the moment like we're going to get Happy Way into position over towards Pipes, which is a good position for a lockdown. The problem is, you have a Sova ult that can just come through and deny this. So these two ults from Happy Way and Trent kind of cancel each other out. And they're hoping that's going to make a distraction for this mid push.
Yeah, 3 players up through
Okay,
mid now.
ult goes out. Oh, this is... if he got that kill, it actually had legs.
Spike down mid.
Yeah, but again, the split over towards A just has 10% success rate. Probably worse now these days. Why you was really that essential for Gilai? I mean, he was a big part of it. But again, this is the thing. Okay, different meta, different
That
team,
Sage Wall
basically.
reaction from
We need
Jorg
to start separating
completely
Valorant
blocks
into
the
different
spike
metas. You
into
really
mid.
do.
30 seconds
But I would
left.
have liked to see XLG take a timing after
Like
Trent
when
had
you
already
get a
invested
change up
the
of a
ultimate.
meta, it changes
Wait
so
for the Sova
much.
to be stuck inside of his ult
One last
before
player
you
with a gun
pounce.
out.
And now in a 2v5, this round is impossible.
So
It's cooked.
there's a lot of changes that have happened to this team. They lose a player, it's a new meta.
most
They're playing
out of
against a
reach it
comp
could
that they don't
possibly
play
be
against.
on an Icebox
They're like the
attack
3
round.
big factors.
The spike going through mid. And these two
And
players,
the new player doesn't speak the same language as
Hunted.
Raga.
not
To
even
the
a gun.
last breath, man. Not even a gun to be saved. Flawless here for G2. It's been the case so far, almost the entirety of this map.
Another example of XLG having a nice idea but failing to execute on it. They did even get the picks, you know, or at least get an opportunity for the picks through mid. But I think their timing was too fast. They didn't wait for that distraction to come through and make it really feel like they were hitting the site from A. Are we keeping it simple for the final 2 rounds? At least on the eco here. Looks like
Can you
XLG
give an
is just gonna
example of a
send it.
meta changing a team?
Trying to
Trying to think of teams that didn't change.
Trying
Trying to think of teams that didn't change
slows down the
players
initial approach.
and like a fair assessment of it.
Flash up and over.
Fnatic. Did
Weaponry
Fnatic
is not
change?
ideal.
Fnatic didn't change. They're probably the best example.
That's going to be broken here.
Did they change? Sen Reykjavik? What, because of Astra getting
When
nerfed?
one team has so much confidence, it's just a single player holding B. Because they're never worried.
I'll push back really.
Did Loud change comp after Sky? They did, right? As in teams?
So ready to be
Yeah, they did.
expended. They want to, and the angle just not quite
NRG?
cleared.
Dude, NRG is
They
probably the
was,
most
they thought
recent
it
one.
was.
Yeah,
NRG off
screens
season,
couple
you put a new
times for
meta in,
that Marshall.
zero tail.
Valen peaks
So
with
that's
the
probably
drone.
like your best recent one.
Marcus gotta
But
be
again,
thinking
everyone
about
would just say that
3
Mickey
and
Mouse
10
tournaments
right
for
now. A
off season.
Brutal beginning, but so reminiscent of their first match here.
It's hard to watch. in
YouTube
some ways,
said
to be honest at
Nongshim?
this point, G2.
Nongshim's good. Nongshim's actually very good, to be fair.
Jorg's waiting for a player to res. No one's died in a while.
Now,
Quite a few examples.
pulling it out for the fun of it here. Paranoia sweeps. Blinded up onto the 2 of them. XLG stepping up. They need a few stray shots, and it's just stray shots straight through the wall. Still Viva will answer back. Instantaneous of the res. Jordan's been waiting a
Wait, they might actually...
Viva finally dealt with. Dropped.
Okay.
Damage midi from below.
Ah, unlucky, bro.
Sheriff in hand, there's only so much. Just down a happy way.
Whoa.
Pull off a miracle.
Jesus.
It's unlikely.
Nice shots,
the
though.
discipline the G2 just rearing every single time.
Sentinels were saying after they played against XLG that they respected them, they were a good team, but they thought that they were slightly easier to play against because they played a standard game. And I think that's one of the things that I really respected watching XLG play domestically. They played to the meta, they played good ideas, but if the execution isn't quite there, and you're playing against squads that have...
Just to get the motivation up, yeah. I mean, they need anything at this moment.
What the expected play is. Yeah. G2 are currently just tearing it to pieces. Even the more creative stuff is getting utterly dismantled. And this feels like a last hurrah for XLG as they head over towards B. Can they at least apply a curse? I mean, a 9-3 maybe. But they'd have to play better than currently in order to get to that spot.
They need anything they can get.
G2 delusional, hoping it can turn into an FPX Heretics Icebox. Yeah, the comps. that whole game was because of the comps, right?
Out here and apply some pressure onto people. Get into deep positions on the sites. Set Raga up somewhere where they're not gonna.
Valen gets the AWP out.
For mid.
Dude, this guy's so dead.
Spotting a happy way. He can exit
Did he
here if
keep
wants
swinging?
to, but I think just feeling the pressure to at least get a ping, anything to turn the tide of the way that this has been going.
So of ult to get them over towards the site, but they're just playing heavy retake again. Yeah, it's a great bait over towards middle. Oh man, they're getting completely outplayed. G2 are doing a very good job though. As much as we could focus on a lot of the negatives for Gili, like G2 are doing great, right? They're playing their comp very, very well.
Fully cleared out. It's just up to Raga.
Especially if you look at Jorgamo, he's not really taking any risks. Ooh, nice shots.
Makes a decent go of it. But a go of it doesn't earn you a round.
And the coordination there is massively off for XLG. You can talk a little bit about Happy Way and whether or not he should have expected that corner after he got pushed off in mid. But the players on B had a thrash to try to work forwards, and it was only Coconut who took any space.
Is this not a safe strat angle for G2? They're fine. Like, because all they do is they just change up their style of play next time they play. Like, they haven't given away too much. Like, this is the most bread and butter way to play this comp. Like, literally on Pissed Around, we pretty much called exactly what would happen anyway. Like, you should know this as you go into the game when you see agent select.
And you're going up
Sideshow, yeah.
The operator on one side,
brother.
the outlaw on the other. 3 players on
Someone
line
say
armor,
butter.
and a half that looks unrecoverable.
The Lorax is the Sideshow guy? Wait, is that the same guy that dressed up as him? Is it actually?
Many angles of which it can be spotted at, and yes, he is fucked.
The bread and butter? Oh, that's
I think it's
good.
a little bit there for the hubris of holding such a out in the open kind of angle.
Lockdown's going to be expended nice and early though. This is what Leaf looking to try and push them back and away. Raga overstaying his welcome.
And remember now,
Okay,
Jorgamo
for sure,
dead. That means
the best
no
chance for a
Sage wall to
while.
be able to
Gili's
get
had.
that easier
This
diffuse
time they don't have the
off.
wall
So a lot of
though,
it's
so.
around the smokes.
Paranoia is perfect.
Oh,
Raga, that's
that is
instinctual.
outrageous.
And he's stepping all the way up
He's
and
maybe
through.
overstepped a little bit there,
Finally, though,
but
dismissed and dealt with. Quick little peek though, toppling, and as the mollies are going to be going up and over, this could be the best chance in a long while. XLG, still Leaf, watching for it. Too many bodies though.
Very, very nicely done.
10-2.
yeah, take down the Sage.
scoreline of what we're
Can
looking
pretty much
at.
play normal on this one. Yeah, as soon as the Sage goes down, it's like a much easier run.
Difficult to watch for XLG, difficult for them to even get their feet underneath them. Absolutely dominant opening for G2, who I think have come into this with a lot of anger after losing.
Yeah, I mean,
2-0.
it's been like an everything diff, right? G2 just look better. And then the Sage is G2 will struggle with XX. No, that'll be fine. It's Icebox, man. When in doubt, just send it over towards A. Very easy for them to get plants over towards B as well. They don't have to take deep map control. They don't need an extra initiator to actually take over towards Snowman because they can always get a safe plant. Just rely more on Lux instead of taking deep if you're struggling in the after plant. Is this going to be the Fnatic Icebox comp as well? It'd probably be very similar. They use the Gecko, right? I think all that Fnatic will do is they'll switch out the Teo for a Sova, if I'm remembering it right. So instead of the Omen, they'll use the Gecko, I think. That's right. Which one is better? I'm not sure, man. I've never really seen the no duelist with an Omen and a Sage. In my head, the Gecko one would be better, but you could probably do the Omen gives you so many options that they might have some cool stuff. It should be a pretty cool matchup if we did ever get it.
Run around on defense, take the timings, push out, abuse the lurker on the other side, and buy the Outlaw whenever he likes in order to punish the other team's economy too. This is more of what I was expecting from him in their opening game. He didn't quite live up to expectations there, though I think Trent did, despite the fact that he's had to move off the Tejo. But definitely a player to keep your eye on now that we're heading onto the attack side too. Because Leaf will crack open mid if things get complicated, but if I was G2 here, I'd be trying to stick as simple as possible. Everything's been working. Absolutely everything.
All right.
So no need to.
I'm not even gonna stay tuned. Like it's a dumb map.
I mean, maybe this is
Leaf
just
is 17-4. It's going crazy.
Which would be unusual.
There's a play for the turret, pre-firing, pre-aiming, I should say, up towards top.
Whichever map can be no duelist.
Position actually for the turret
somewhere
here.
that doesn't have.
You see it in a
You
position
could.
where it covers
I think the closest
the
you could
window,
get to it,
the
where I'd
blind
feel
spot.
like you could do okay, would be Sunset at a stretch.
Shown here by XLG.
And a
I'm not
pretty
saying it
similar
would be
game plan,
good,
right?
but I
They're
think you
gonna
could make
fight
it
over
work.
towards B. They're going to try to get information there and play a retake style on A where they have a bit of plant denial. It could be straight out of the G2 playbook.
All up and over, a bit of spam to try and break this one early, but not in time. Still stands for now, plant up towards the top. Rapid approach.
Ascent.
This is from the flank. And it's all
Ascent
gonna
will probably be
heard
the
and
worst
received
map
by
to do it.
Trent. Surely going to be common. He's just holding for any extra element that might be coming out through that one.
It's a
and
little
still
bit more
tucks, so he
viable
is
now
safe
that you
in
can
this
get over towards
possible
B main,
position.
but
Now sees it off to the side. That's just a classic in hand. Raga has been dealt with, taken out. Now it's up to Leaf to try and step up to it and see if he can hold this one back here and losing control to the flank. The players are dropping
damn,
like
okay.
flies here,
the
G2.
most Icebox
Not sure
round
which way
ever.
they want
Just
to look.
every kill in 1 second.
Bounce sticking out, matters not for
Okay.
Coconuts.
Chat, who's believing?
Just rips the head
We
clean
got
off
any
the shoulders
believers
of
here?
Trent. A pistol round win for XLG.
I said to keep an eye on Leaf as we head into this.
Are you ready
half,
for Icebox
but
and Abyss in
I
the
was
same map
expecting
pool
him
for
to get the
champs?
value
Please
not to
no.
get shut down. That flank came
Please
straight
no,
into
man.
him.
Tell
He
me that's not a
dodged the
thing.
Dizzy, and yet Midi still swings around the corner, ghost in hand, and one taps him in the head. Really big value there from the substitute player on XLG. Because that allowed the flank to thoroughly come through into sight. And the rest of the players on G2 got surrounded.
They need a bit more of that. Keeping the energy up, spirits need to be lifted. A pistol round win.
Yeah, but look at this.
Here we
Anytime
go,
you
it's the
cut
G2
one head
Classic.
off Hydra, suddenly
You got the
stingers
plant,
all
you know
pop
they're
up.
forcing on
And
this
even
one,
Joe Davies, the
and
Spectre,
for sure,
that's the
Sheila I know
wrong
they're
gun,
forcing
buddy.
as well.
What are you
Like
doing with that
this.
in your hand?
Like this a lot. Outlaw against the 4 people that can get one shot.
To rip the unsuspecting.
Yeah.
Tear them
I
apart
would
with
say
his
people
fingers in
don't do
hand.
this enough,
Peeks off
to
the
be
side
honest,
here, the
against
Outlaw.
G2.
The Outlaw's a great purchase.
Yeah, it's shown. Jonah P looking up through mid. There was a chance of the timing there for
Whoa,
him.
that is...
Just snaps right up top.
Oh,
Midi,
Mate, you...
Midi's got the
Are you
beats of his
okay?
own. Everybody feeling like they have to be the hero in a moment like this.
Oh,
Get down to this
man.
extent. Snap it up to the side. That's 2 shots required. And G2 overwhelm. They swarm the back of the side. Coconut. It's the
That's
last
a
one
double
left to do
swing.
it.
Ah, everyone's
It's
going
too
for
much
hero plays.
to overcome G2.
That little play where Jorgamo takes contact on the Outlaw, takes 140 damage, and wastes.
Did Jorgamo
essentially
have
Raga's
full shield? Yeah, he
shots.
had full
And
shield.
the
He
rest of
tanked
the
the bullet.
players with light armor stingers come in afterwards. Jorgamo was essentially playing a tank.
Yeah, he was essentially just to dodge the
He's
first bullet,
running
hit
the
the first
Sage
bullet.
tank build. He's designed to just absorb
Outlaw got no
shots and let the rest of
impact.
his
I
team train him out.
mean,
A
that
beautiful
wasn't
idea
the
to counter
reason
the
why it
Outlaw,
went
which
down.
itself was supposed to be
Like, just me.
Yeah.
to the Stinger
Like,
Force
the
fight.
Outlaw was
And
fine. It could have had
G2, they're
impact
back
if
in
they
the
actually had, like,
ascendancy.
people surviving,
He
not
didn't buy
taking
a weapon
crazy
last time, it was just a full armor and a classic.
risks.
He knew what his job was.
Yeah. And just like that, wind out of the sails here for XLG.
Yeah, if they had a hope, it does appear to be dashed against the rocks.
It's a deep dart against the back wall here, Leaf. Might be getting pressured at a moment's notice, backs himself away to a safer position.
But XLG, having heard nothing on A, are not really rotating defensive players around to try to catch G2 where they might be. Instead, looking to push out. This could be a clash, because G2, Valiant is calling for them to go back into this site.
Oh boy.
That's a deep drone though. That was going to
Yeah.
be offloaded nice and close. So G2 are aware that they pushed up deep through A main. What's the call now? Re-clear it out or go in a different direction? In through mid. Happy way.
If he just stayed where he was, he would have
Yeah.
heard so much
Got
information.
the Viper over
getting
towards
antsy.
middle as well.
I
Killjoy
think
goes
your
down. All
comment,
got
everybody feels
info
like they have
over
to be the
towards
hero
mid.
right now.
Jonah P's taking a
It's
lot of
so accurate.
space.
When you're down like this and none of your standard ideas are working,
30 seconds left.
you feel like you've got to take more and more risk.
Stepping forwards.
Whoa,
Raga,
wait, what was
cheeky
that?
with the shot. The flash does
That
connect.
was a crazy shot.
Smoke's going to be obfuscating,
They're pretty
blocking.
fast.
Any chance for XLG to capitalize?
Keep an eye on
on
Leaf.
Still, it is 4 versus 4. Plan is down. Now for G2. Watching up through. Just spots it, and okay. Scope is optional, at least for Leaf now, and he's going to be making sure that he can stay posted up onto this
Yeah, and he can
position.
just hold you across the whole
Catching
time.
it. You never expect this one. You
They
never
didn't
expect
expect
it
the
at
gap.
all.
Oh
Straight
god, okay, they
down.
really they're really out of
G2
practice
find
against the
themselves at
Sage.
12.
They really are. 9 chances.
One final opportunity here for XLG to try to stabilize themselves, but there are 9 chances for G2 to close this out, and they've barely needed more than a first opportunity, a first chance in any of these rounds. They came into this so hyped up. The adrenaline was at a max for G2. When they won the pistol at the very
Upload
beginning,
this as a YouTube short. That's
they were
crazy.
losing it.
Placing swarm grenade.
What's the actual time on it?
Laugh
32
now, though.
minutes. It's not crazy fast.
Or was it round 3? Anyway, whenever they won that first round,
Oh.
Yeah,
There's just
close
nothing going
back
wrong
right
for
as well.
XLG here.
Yeah, they got so
no,
right.
happy way, even the movement, he ends up tripping over his shoelaces, gets caught there by Trent. The ults are good, and it's the same trio from XLG trying to make something happen again. They pushed out A in the previous round, now they've gone over to B.
How much confidence does this give you for G2 after the Paper X
He's in
game?
transit, he's blocked by the barrels.
The comp
Could've had an
gives
exit perhaps,
me
maybe,
the
but
comp
he's
gives
gonna
me a
be
lot more
dropped
hope. But
nevertheless.
the problem is I know
It's a very
that
new map, isn't it? Those barrels
Yeah.
I know
just
that
got
they
recently
have a
added.
rough
A lot of
split,
changes to Icebox recently.
and I
so-
know. I mean, honestly, I think their Lotus would be good
4v4.
if they just play defense right.
Rifles in the hands.
It
for
gives me a little bit
XLG,
more hope
and they're
because now I've
stopping,
got
they're
them.
marching.
I know that there's an extra map that
They
they're
know
good at.
it's the last lifeline here for them on Icebox. Time to make it go.
And I do think that a lot of teams will struggle
indicator
to play
close
against the
corner.
Sage.
What are you doing? Cycling the use.
Jesus, especially when he's doing that.
And leaves it down to Coconut in a 1v2. All for the map. All here and now.
Oh, nice. Really nice run, G2. It's a great reply.
Is how Icebox is going to be sealed up here for G2.